Tyler Brown, GuitarLessons365.com. Got a classic from Black Sabbath for you today. We're going to learn how to play N.I.B. Some people call it Nativity in Black, but I think there's a lot of controversy about that, where the name derives from. So we'll just call it N.I.B. Just call it N.I.B. It's funner. All right, so we're going to do N.I.B. today. And this is in standard tuning, so nothing funky there. But we're going to jump right into it as soon as you make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you know when I release a new lesson. And check out my Guitar Academy, link in the description. It's got all my guitar courses there, covering a bunch of stuff. We've got a great community over there, so hopefully you'll join us very, very soon. All right, so let's jump into this. Standard tuning, like I said before. So I'm kind of basing the timing, when I tell you the minute and second mark, off the original recording. You can find this the song by itself, like on YouTube or on Spotify and like the Ultimate Collection. I'm kind of doing the same, so it's kind of really just part of a suite of songs really on the original track. So when I'm telling you, okay, the verse riff just starts right here at the 4 minute and 29 second mark, it's because I'm using that original track. All right, so anyway, that opening verse riff sounds like this. All right, so this is pretty fun to play, and as Iommi does a lot, he likes to play his power chords kind of way up high along the 6th string. So we're going to start here at the 12th fret power chord off the low E string. So 12th fret there on the low E, 14 on the A. So we're going to drag that shape around a little bit. Hit that twice, then go down to 10, then back to 12. Then jump up to 15, same shape. And then 14. So we have this. And then back down to 12 a couple times. 10, 12. So we have this all together. All right. Now this first fill after this is basically when there's no vocals, right before the vocals come in. We have this. So that's going to be a bend. You're going to hit the G string, 14th fret, sorry. Do a bend up. And then play the 12th fret there with a lot of vibrato. So we have this. And then start the riff again. So it's the same riff, but the ending is going to be different. Instead of doing this, we're going to do this. So it kind of slides up the low E string and does a trill between 12 and 14 on the A. You can hear a lot of the bass guitar stuff going on. Sometimes when you're playing through the verse, when he's doing his trill, you hear the bass guitar do a little thing there, and it sounds like the guitar is doing it because it's so up high in the range. But it's the bass, it's not the guitar, so it might be confusing. I don't hear that trill all the time in the verse, but it's there. It's just you're probably hearing the bass there. So we have. Now the vocals come in, and it just follows the melody follows the chords. All right, so after that first verse line, we have that, just follows the same riff. We come over here and we grab the double stops here at the 12th fret. So we play the 12th fret on the G and the B together a couple times. So we have this. And then back to the. And then, so after the second line in the verse, do that trill again. So we have this so far for the first 2 lines of the verse. So just repeat all that. So But the last time you play that verse, during the verse when you play it the fourth time, don't do any kind of fill at the end. All right, and then we get to this, so that was at the 4-minute and 29-second mark when that started. At the 4-minute and 57-second mark of the original recording, the track, we have this E minor pentatonic riff. All right, so that is going to be hammering from 10 to 12 in the low E, over to 10 on the A string, then 12, and then pick 12 again, pull off to 10. Oh, I'm sorry. I done went off the whole fretboard. Over to the 12th fret there on the low E. So we have this. So all together, you're going to just kind of repeat that a few times. So after you do a few times of that, you come up and do this unison bend. You're going to play the 12th fret on the B, and then the 14th fret on the G. So you're going to do that, pick those two notes, and bend up the 14th fret there on the G until it matches that note on the B string. So you're going to do that bend twice. Just let it ring, and then we're back to the same verse riff we did before, which is twice without the vocals when we're doing that. And the vocals come in, and so it's just like we did before. The fills are the exact same that the first time. All the verses are the same. So we're just gonna kind of skip that since we already know that. Then at the 5-minute and 33-second mark, we have one of those unique subdued choruses. So the chorus is actually more subdued than the rest of the song. So it's at the 5-minute and 33-second mark. Sounds like this. All right, so it's pretty simple. It's just these power chord shapes taken around on the 6th string again. So 12th fret, you pick it again, then go down to 10. So we got 12, 12, 10, then 10, 8, then 8, 7. Repeat, 12, 12, 10, 10, 8, 8, 7. All right, now from here, we're going to change it up. 7, 8, 8, 7. 7, 8, 8, 7. Pretty simple stuff. So the whole chorus there. All right, from there, just back to the same verse. So the same part, and then that coming out of that same pentatonic riff we did before. All right, so that takes us to the 6.5-minute mark of the song where we have Tony Iommi's first solo. So something that he does a lot in his solos, that he has multiple solos going on at the same time. So it's impossible to get it exactly like he's doing on the recording because there's literally two guitars just doing completely different solos sometimes. Sometimes they're doing similar things, but it's sometimes they kind of come together and they separate. So he uses this effect a lot. But you're not going to be able to get it note for note because of that. Some of it we can get note for note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you his first solo here. And a lot of the stuff at the beginning we can get note for note. And then when he starts bringing in the next guitar, it's not a harmony guitar part. It's just literally a separate guitar thing going on. And they kind of come together. So right there, I have to do sort of an approximation of what's going on. Something maybe he would do live, because obviously he can't play both parts live either. And then obviously when the parts come together, I'll play that section like that. So not going to sound exactly like the recording, but as close as we can get it. All right, so I'm going to play through it for you real quick. All right, so that one's, this solo is very similar in the beginning to the outro solo. So what I'm going to be doing here is going more kind of some note for note, some approximating what he's doing here. For the second solo, I'm going to kind of show you, since the intro is the same, we'll kind of do the same thing. But there, I'm just really going to show you the scales that he's using, and so you can just kind of go off on it and do your own thing there. Because that one, too, kind of keeps going. It's got multiple stuff going on. It's just unrecreatable again. All right, so now we're going to start with this first phrase here. So that's going to be the 5th fret there on the D string. Then he plays 4th fret on the D, hammer on 5, pull back off to 4, over to 7 on the A. So we have this. Then you're going to run or repeat that. Try this. Then we're going to climb back up to scale 4, 5, 7 on the D string, over to 4 on the G a couple times. Then you're going to pick that again, slide up to 7, kind of hit that again and let it ring. And then hammer 7 and 9. So we have this so far. And you're going to end this little first phrase here. So it's a few bends there at the 9th fret on the G string. But then you're going to play 7, hammer 9, pull back off to 7. All right, so here's where that second guitar comes in. And what I'm going to do is just kind of an approximate it, because we have another guitar that's kind of doing something similar, but at a little different time. So it's very erratic sounding. And then he throws the echoes on it, so it's like, oh, forget it. So we just had this. So basically what I'm doing here, starting by sliding into the 9th fret there and go. Just a couple times. And then over to 8 on the B. Now here is where we're going to kind of, start this little pattern where really I'm kind of approximating what's going on. We're going to pull off 10 to 8 on the B string, over to 9 on the G, back to that 8. And then we're going to do the same thing going down to the 9 on the G string, except we're going to do a bend at the 10th fret, pull off to 8, back to 10, and then back down to that 9. So after this, it's a little bit easier to understand. So we have this. All right, and then, by the way, when you get to this part, feel free to just kind of do whatever you want. Because that's what he does live too, because there's like I said, getting it just like the album's impossible anyway. So after what I just did, what I've been doing now is just kind of bending at the 10th fret again, release, then go 8, 10, 8, and then do that again. So, and then you're going to end it with a couple of bends where the guitars do come together there and do that bend there twice at the 10. So that's what you want to hit. And then from there, you kind of just do a hammer 8 to 10, back to 8 on the B string, and slide up the G string there. And then we get to basically a section again, kind of like the beginning of the solo again. All right, so that starts with that same thing that we did before, but just done once, because now we're going to go back to the 4, slide 5 to 7 on the D, then play 4 on the G, and then play it again and let it ring. So like this. And then pick 4, slide to 7, pick 7, slide to 9, and then pick 9. So we have this. I'm going to keep sliding up there, pick 9, slide up to 12, and pick 12 and hold that for a beat. And then we have a hammer from 12 to 14, and then a bend there at the 14th fret, big, kind of a slow bend, over to 12 on the B string, and then 2 times on the high E string. And then from there, we're going to end this little phrase with a bend and a release of the 15th fret on the B string, and then play 15, 12. So this. All right, and now we have this repeated lick, which in the last solo he does it a little bit longer, but we have this going on. So that's going to be pulling off 15 to 12 on the high E string, then play the 12th fret there on the B string. So it's a 3-note lick, done 4 times. Into the bend at the 15th fret. And then we have this section. So that's kind of the next bar. So that's going to be, the guitar parts line up here too as well. So we have 15 on the high E string. Then you're going to play 12, hammer 15, pull back off to 12. So we have this. And then we have 2 8th notes, 15 on the B, 12 on the high E string. So we have this. So it's just that little, it's supposed to 8th notes with a quick little 16-note triplet in there. Then we're going to pull off 15 to 12 on the B, into a bend at the 14th fret on the G, and we have this typical blues lick from here. So that's that bend at the 14th fret over to 12 on the B, 12 on the high E, roll back to the 12 on the B. We start with the note that we're going to start the next lick with is that 15th fret bend there. So we have this. All right, so we're getting to the last couple bars of the solo, and they sound like this. Once again, we have some kind of different guitar stuff going on, so this is a little bit of an approximation. So we have this bend that we just ended the last phrase with. That's the bend of the 15th fret. Then we're going to play another kind of common blues lick. 12th fret on the high E string, pull off 15 to 12 on the B, into the 14th fret bend at a whole step bend on the G string. And here we have the second time through, you don't repeat the whole lick. You do the lick first, all the way down. And the second time, you're going to just play 12 on the high E, 15 on the B. Straight, you don't play the 12 on the B string. Just go 12, 15 on the B, a quick bend at the 14th fret on the G, and then play 12 on the G. So we have this. All right, so then from there we have this 12, 14 on the D, then at 12, hammer on 14, pull off to 12 on the G. And then you pick that 12 again and end the solo with a pre-bend at the 14th fret, release, and pull off to 12. So we have this. All right, so that is the first solo. From there we go back to the same verse. Verse exact same, chorus after that, back to the verse, back to that pentatonic riff. So nothing new here. Then we basically get to solo number 2. Solo 2 pretty much starts the same way as solo 1. And then he'll kind of mess around with this. It kind of just messes around and just E minor pentatonic wherever you want to go. So you get. But he just kind of messes around and he'll do some bends at the 10th fret on the high E. And then some bends at the B string. But what he does really quickly is he jumps up to the 12th fret and he does the rest of his solo pretty much across that E minor pentatonic stuff. A lot of the same licks that we did before. So we got a lot of that stuff going on, so really just kind of do your own thing with E minor pentatonic there. We do have that same repeated lick. And he does it for longer, but it's still that same 3-note lick there. And then there's a little free time section where he's really just gonna... All right, so now the one little lick that we can grab, that he's kind of just one guitar is doing it, is that little outro lick he does. So we have this little... All right, so that's kind of like you play that 12th fret power chord and then play 12, 14 on the D string, 12, 14 on the G. Got a bend and release, pull off to 12, and then pick 12 again over to 14 on the D. So we have this. Then what we're going to do is hammer on 12 to 14 on the D. Then play 12, then 14 on the A string, 12, 11 on the A string. Kind of making it that E major there, so it is with... And then end it with that power chord. All right, so it's pretty much, you know, kind of really typical Iommi for that period at least, where he likes doing those layered kind of guitar solos and all that stuff. But we can get the riffs are very repetitive, so we can get them exact. Solo, some of it you're just going to have to do it your own thing like he does live. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.